Hey, what's going on, Golferos? And welcome back to the Salud Golfers podcast. We are here at beautiful Anaheim Hills. Big shout out to the course.
Rainy Anaheim Hills.
Rainy Anaheim Hills, yeah. But still grateful nonetheless. Always great hosts that they have us out here. Today's a really fun podcast. Got Raul here with me, but then also special guest today, El Cesar Zarate Garcia, father of two, husband, CPA, MBA, avid golfer. ¿Qué no tienes, güey?
I don't have a good golf swing, dude. That's what I don't have. That's for sure.
Dude, do any of us, bro? Come on.
No, but good aim. I have good aim, though.
Good aim. It starts off right.
Well, we know you're a sniper, dude. We've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, bro, he's a sniper.
Yeah, we'll bring that up a little bit later on.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into that one. But, bro, thanks for being with us here today.
I appreciate you guys having me. I mean, I know it's a little bit rainy, but we're gonna go play golf in maybe an hour or two, and it should be fun.
Yeah, man, we'll get called up at the tee time. Yeah, we'll see how many holes we get. Hopefully, it doesn't dump on us, or maybe it clears up, and we keep it going. But yeah, man, big episode today. Just because, as we always say, we want to kind of be a guiding light in a way to some people. And money's a big thing, right? It makes the world go around, and I think, en la cultura, we're kind of those old school stick the cash under the mattress and just keep saving. But as a CPA, hoping today that we can get a little bit more guidance in what we should be doing in developing our financial literacy. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's kind of the psychology of money, right? Same thing. I still have that. I still have an issue with sometimes investing or sometimes spending too much on certain things. I think we all do, just because that's how we grew up.
What do you mean? You just jump on Wall Street bets, man. You're good. Reddit, baby.
What are the trends? Where are all the new apps following all the politicians' stock investments?
Hey, man, Reddit. If you go in there and pump and dump, man, you made some good money last week. So.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
They went from $34. I think they ended up closing at $59. So
dang, bro, pass the notes.
Yeah,
ooh, I'm telling you, Wall Street bets, dude. Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of information out there, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, I guess let's take it back a little bit, because, like I said, within our culture, there's not a lot of guys getting into finance, accounting, all that good stuff. So, what kind of set you off on that path, bro? Like, when did you know, like, hey, I want to be a CPA? It's not a sexy position, but
it is not. And I had no idea, man. Let me take you back. I guess I was always really good at math, like from the beginning, like middle school, going back to elementary, third grade, dude. I was the first one to know all my timetables before anyone else. You'd have a competition amongst your peers, and then got into high school, took all the way to calculus and everything else, and college, same thing. I just love math, and I'm like, what can I do with math? I'm like, no, it's gonna sound really bad, but being a teacher, you're not going to make a really good living. That's all I could really think of with math that I could do, right? Now there's all these different positions that you can do. But at that point, so I pivoted to business and accounting. And even though accounting, people think it's hard math, it's not. You're really just doing plus, minus, division, and multiplication.
Yeah.
But it's really more on the law side of it, the regulatory part of it, understanding that aspect of it. So it was pretty cool. But I had no idea what a CPA was when I did accounting. Had no idea that what their earnings potential were. I just knew that accounting coming out of college would make about 60, 70K. And I'm like, heck yeah, that sounds amazing,
That sounded amazing.
The good old days when that sounded really good.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds amazing. And so, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into, other than that, it was pretty cool to understand that, the world revolves around accounting and finance. So,
yeah. No, for sure, bro. And yeah, it's like I said, it's not a sexy looking position.
It's not. You can't, you think of an accountant, you think about a nerd that's sitting behind the screen.
No doubt.
Just crunching numbers, Excel. Geek has a pocket protector and all that. It's a whole different world.
What color is your pocket protector?
I don't have one, dude.
Well, what the funny thing is, that used to be the stereotype. Now think about what it's evolved to, where math, the geeks, the nerds are the ones that are, dude, look at the guys who run the world, essentially.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's all math.
It's all flipped in the last 20 years
All
because
these engineers too and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Engineering, development, all that stuff.
Yep.
People that were like, oh, those are geeks, those are nerds, they're not going to amount to anything. They're running this joint.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
No, that's super crazy. So with finally making that decision, or I wouldn't say finally, but you come to that conclusion that you want to be a CPA, what was kind of like your next step? Like, did you pick your school specifically based off of that, or like, how did you develop like that path for yourself?
Yeah, so born and raised in LA, Huntington Park, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing more paisa than Huntington Park in Southern California. Nothing more paisa than Huntington Park, dude. You guys probably, got your
baby.
Don't come for us.
got fitted for your quinceañera tuxedos and all that stuff at Huntington Park, and yeah, La Pacific was a spot. But we moved to Redlands when I was 15, so right during high school. It was a huge transition, and obviously, my family, was never wealthy, poor, and so all I could afford was Cal State San Bernardino. So I went right there local, still lived at home, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into with college, no guidance. I applied last minute because they said, you need to apply, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but you figure it out. And so, that's how it started. And, I got out of college. I had no job out of college. I was very passionate in student development and, whether it was at a university level or at a high school level, just, developing students to be the better than what they are now. And I worked for this small company called Aspirinet, which was foster care.
Okay.
Foster care company. So they had contract with the government, and these were kids post foster care. So once you're 18, you're out of the system. What happens? A lot of these kids are lost.
It's cold turkey. They cut you off.
A lot of these kids, they don't know where to get their license, their social security, nothing. They have no idea what's happening, right? Because the system has taken care of them. So this was a post foster care system between the ages of 18 and 21. Mind you, I was 22, 23, and my title was a life coach.
Trying to
Like, what
guide
the
your
hell
own
do I know
peers.
about life?
Hey, man, you had 2 years on him, man. Something.
What do I know about life, right? But I think that taught me so much more about me and, trying to help them out with just basic resources, right? How do I get an appointment at the doctor? How do I, fuel my car? How do I go grocery shopping? What's a debit card? What's a credit card? Simple things, right? And then I realized that, again, thinking about money, if I want to make a living, if I want to get paid well, I have to get my master's. Like, my bachelor's was not going to cut it for that.
Yeah.
So that was going to be an investment that I was going to have to make a couple more years, do my, MSW, a master's in social work, right? Or do I really want to pursue the accounting part, which is what I graduated with? And so
that's a weird divergence in the path.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, do I go social work, which is total, I'm essentially like volunteer work.
Yeah.
Tina, don't kill me, my cousin. She's a social worker. And then accounting. So yeah, that's
so different, right? But I've always been really good with people hanging out and I guess, bullshitting, I guess. I don't know.
You got into sales then, bro.
yeah, maybe sales, yeah.
Bro, he
And
tells me
so-
all the time to get into sales.
Honestly, that's one of the best traits that you can have because every single time you're either the buyer or you're the seller.
Yeah.
No
Which
doubt.
one are you?
Yeah.
We're selling every
Right
single
now,
day.
we're all selling.
We're
right?
selling every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Facts.
it's part of life. And I was listening actually to a podcast. I was talking about sales pitches right now. It's like, how do you introduce yourself? But we might divert a whole different way, but it's like, how do you introduce yourself? And they're like, oh, well, I'm a CPA. I do X, Y, and Z. Well, what if you change it to as a CPA? I help small businesses save taxes, understand their operational inefficiencies, and help them with pricing their product and services.
Yeah, value selling. baby.
And how do
Value
you do it?
selling.
And it's like instantly, right? Screw the elevator pitch. You instantly know what the value you're giving away is or you're giving is. But so yeah, that was July 2012. December 2022. Sorry. Yeah, 2020.
The Pacifico's kicking in.
Yeah. So that was July 2012 when I
Yeah.
started that position. By December 2012, I was working for a CPA firm. And let me tell you how that
Oh, it's
happened.
a big jump, yeah.
Let me tell you how that happened. I was rejected by CPA firms, and I knew this company wanted me at one point, but it was before I was eligible to work full time because I was still an undergrad.
Yeah.
And so I picked up the phone, I called them, and I said, hey, I studied accounting. I graduated in June. Wanted to see if you have any positions available. And one of the partners called me and he said, yeah, come interview. When can you interview? I'm like, well, I really, don't want my employer to find out, so I can do it either before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m. He's all right, let's do the interview 6:30 a.m. Boom.
Dang.
Wake up at 5 a.m., shower, put your suit on, go meet that person. And that tells a lot about you, right? Who's willing to work, who wants it, who doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the rest is history. I started there December 2012. I did not get my CPA till May 2017. 4 years. Almost 4 years.
Whoa, okay.
3.5 years, dude. Failed the exam, I think, about 6 times before I passed the first one. Because it's 4 parts.
Yeah.
And whether I was taking it seriously or not, I'll tell you what, I really wasn't. There was a lot going on with my family. And, as someone who's straight out of a college making $50K a year, you're like, all right, let's go drink. Let's go let's go party. Let's go do these things. Let's go Rosarito every weekend, lo que sea.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until like 2015 that I really focused, and it took me 18 months to pass that, because that's all they give you, 18 months. So
yeah. Was it something specific? Like I know you mentioned that you had things going on in life, but was there like a moment like, oh dude, fuck this, I gotta get myself straight, like
and come to Jesus moment,
that come to Jesus moment, exactly. Did you have that, or like ¿qué pasó in that moment where you're like, okay, I'll just take it serious? Yeah,
the come to Jesus moment was when my dad left my mom. That was late 2014, I think, early 2014.
Yeah,
that's what it was. And so now
you felt like you had become the man for your mom.
I had already moved out.
Yeah,
I had to go move back home. I got to go support my mom and my sisters. My sister, the youngest one, was 12, and the other one was just around 17, 18. Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, I need to make some more money. How do I do this? I need to get my CPA, because the CPA is what elevates you and makes you that subject matter expert. Yeah. Right. And now you can easily go get a managing role or something else once you have that title. And so that was really the motivation. And it always takes something like that to really get your head straight.
Yeah, it sucks, because for a lot of people it takes something going bad to like, okay, like I gotta fix things. Yeah. I gotta go ahead and take care of it. So does that make you the oldest, like overall oldest in the family? Yeah. So you felt like you had to take that responsibility on.
I'm the only guy in the family.
The only guy. Oh, okay.
Two sisters, just me and my mom, and so I had to. I'm like, all right, let's put this on my.
Especially in our culture, that's like a must. It's like not even like let me think about it. It's like, dude, no questions asked. You gotta step up.
Yeah, like my dad too. He's had to start working at the age of 9 in Mexico. And he was the oldest kid, and didn't have any education past 3rd, 4th grade. Yeah. So it was different, obviously, but it's like you got to take that weight on your shoulders and carry it for however long you need to get the family back up and running.
Right. Yeah. Was so like I said earlier, CPA, not sexy. A lot of people don't think about that position. What was the family support like when you said, "Hey, I'm going to go to school to be an accountant"?
I'm pretty sure if we ask our moms right now, what do you guys do for a living? None of them can answer it.
Facts.
She would just see me studying. She'd see me go to school, from 7 a.m., come back like at 8 p.m. and study at night. And she'd be like, ¿para qué estudias? Duérmete, tienes que descansar, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, mom, I will later, and it's like they don't understand, kind of what you're going through and what's happening. And you just got to stay focused, man. But no, I mean, I think she has an idea of what kind of I do, but still, not, I don't think it's still,
still hasn't clicked.
Still hasn't clicked. Like she's like, "Hey, do you need money? Do you need this?" She'll be like, "Oh, you got twins here. Let me buy you some diapers." I'm like, "Great, mom, thank you." But really, I'm helping you out. I should be helping you out more.
Again, though, that's like a culture thing.
It is.
I think all our parents have done that to a certain extent, and we're the ones that can really support them nowadays. And they're still asking and checking in on us and doing these type of things.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's what it is. Part of the Mexican culture. And that's. And the way I think about it is like they never had money, and the way they do it is taking care of you, right? Whether it's food, giving you the smallest little things, then llévate este dulce, like just things for them to show that they care about you. And it's weird. It's different. Yeah. Not weird. It's just.
I think it's also good though. I mean, to Raul's point, like I said, they're used to that. They want to take care of you, but in reality, it's like we're kind of taking care of you now. I think we're all the oldest here. We're all the oldest siblings in our families. So, thank God my parents are doing all right for their age and stuff like that. But also at the same time, they are starting to hit that age. And me being the oldest, I gotta have to step up a little bit. I don't have the situation that you had, which is a really tough one. But yeah, having to step into that role, and I do get that reassurance though, because I get the same thing that you're talking about, where it's like my dad will be like, "Hey, mijo, te ayudo con esto, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "All right, cool, thanks, Dad, I appreciate that." But it's like, remember, we got to go handle all these other things. I need all this other information, you know. Yeah. So that's funny, Raul. I mean, like I said, we're all the oldest here. Like, when did you hit that point? Because I think you've had to do some stuff to help out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but I've been kind of lucky where it wasn't a necessity. Like yours was really a necessity.
Yeah, yours is a necessity. Yeah.
So I've been lucky when it comes to that. I mean, my dad is. I mean, to this day, I think my dad's like part shark. He cannot stay freaking still.
Yep.
My dad's already retired, and he decided to go freaking start a landscape business. I'm like, Papa, what the hell are you doing? Go sit. He can't. He sits down and falls asleep, and he falls asleep, and then he can't sleep at night.
Yep.
So my dad's been retired for a couple of years now. Did his thing, and then he can't be doing something. So my dad's always similar to your dad. My dad had to hustle when he was at a young age. Went to elementary school, and that was really about it. And then from there, he's been working, and he's always found that grind. And now at an older age, I understand. Like sometimes, especially for me, I see dude, I was such a little douchebag asking my dad for these type of things, not knowing like what my dad had to go through. Yeah. And now I can have those conversations with my parents, where my mom tells her, like, your dad would not eat lunch because he wanted to buy you those Jordans type of shit.
Dang, bro.
And I'm like, dude, I'm such a little douchebag. I was like in 4th grade asking for like, Jordan 5s type of thing.
Yeah.
And my dad would do what he got to do it before he really got to where he retired from. But it's part of the culture, man.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to money, though. Like, 1,000% goes back to money, because you think about it, what is one way that you can flex your status?
Money. Like, buy things,
what you wear. That's the first thing that people look at. Oh, shit, what kind of shoes do you have? What kind of clothes do you have? Hat, everything else.
Yeah.
That tells status.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is why I refuse to, like, wear really brands. Like, I'm not a person that's going to wear brands. Unless it's, like, obviously Los Golferos, but I'm always rocking that.
Always
that I've been recognized. Yeah. I've been recognized.
Always rock that brand. Come on.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like, Gucci, Toda Madre, anything, I refuse to wear brands because I don't want people to recognize and say, hey, this guy is the guy that wears Jordans all the times or what que sea. But it goes back to money. That's when I see you guys in the street, not you guys, but someone in the street, you're like, all right, he's wearing Jordans. He must be well off. He's wearing a Louis Vuitton belt. He must be well off. Mm-hmm. He drives a badass Beamer or lo que sea. He must be well off. And you don't know the kind of debt that they're carrying behind the scenes. You don't know, whether they live in a garage or whatever, and they're just really flexing it, out there for the people to see. And that's the worst thing you can do, man. That's the worst thing you can do.
I think we all can resonate to a certain extent. Maybe even our parents or uncles or el compadre, la comadre, especially in the Latino community, the paycheck mentality.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, the paycheck came through. Let's go out. Let's go have fun. Let's go buy some stuff. And yeah, the next 2 weeks before the other paycheck comes through, like, yikes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that happens porque a la misma vez, they never had anything. So it's like, I've never had anything. I have it. I'm going to spend it all because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? But what if you do end up living tomorrow and you don't have anything to show for it, right? Or any money to spend. So it's a balance, You always want to treat yourself, but don't want to go above your means.
Yeah, I think it was crazy because, so definitely, my dad had his own business for over 30 years. Very successful flower grower.
Nice.
Still highly recognized in the flower growing community. And he's actually the one that inspired me to go to business school. I went and got my business degree because I was like, hey, like, we're hustlers. Like we get up and we grind every morning. Yeah. And so I've always had that grind mentality thanks to my dad. To this day, kind of like Raul's dad, dude's a shark. He can't stop moving. Yeah.
Like, I think my dad and your dad get along just talking about work.
Hell yeah.
The times they hang out, talking about work.
That's dope.
Yeah. But the flip side to that is I tell Raul this all the time. It's like, dude, we need to learn to marry the cultures in the sense of like, we need to have that Mexican hustle, but you got to have kind of like them white boy cutthroat like business mentality of like, yes, it's good to work hard, but let's also work smarter.
Well, that's the biggest issue. And that's been like my mantra forever. Like, and here's the funny thing. I know this is gonna sound completely stupid, so feel free to laugh at my ass. I got that lesson from DuckTales. I am not gonna bullshit you. Scrooge McDuck. Just work smarter, not harder. If you guys, honestly, I can tell you the episode. I was like 9 years old, where Scrooge is talking about he got the number one dime and he had to shine those shoes. Yeah, and the shoes were like embedded in concrete. I will not BS you. That's where my mantra came: work smarter, not harder.
Oh shoot! I need to go rewatch.
Thank you, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
Disney, you do good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that episode. But they all have hidden messages like that. You don't realize it. Yeah,
but that's like the one thing, and it's like his dad, my dad, your dad. I can imagine they can tell you the stories como se chingaron.
Yeah.
And look, even my dad, like, before we started the pod, we're talking about like how much time it is to have the kids, and like I have, kids are teens already, and it's like now my life is work and kids. For our parents, it was work. Like once in a while, like if you had a soccer game or you had a school play, you had something, your dad was going to try to make it, but it was not guaranteed. Why? Because they were too worried about putting food on the table, putting clothes on our backs type of thing. So they never really got to enjoy the little things. And that's kind of what I've noticed with my parents now being grandparents. Now they're kind of living through that, but through the grandkids. Yeah. But look, they missed out on a lot of stuff. And I'm not crying that my parents missed out on some of that stuff, especially my dad. But it's one of those things that we need to change that going for generations forward type of thing.
Yeah.
So, that's a big thing to me.
Yeah, that's so true. Man, it's weird because like for me personally, I'm kind of in the middle of that because my dad did work a lot. But my dad being the boss, it was different because he could be like, hey, you all keep working. I got to go watch my kid's game. And so he would come to my baseball games, and football, whatever it was. But then also on the flip side, when he didn't show up, I knew. And it was like, no, I respect that. He's out there getting his grind on, getting his hustle on. So, that's crazy, bro, that you bring that up. Because, like they'll work so hard so that you can go play those games instead of being at the game with you.
Well, I know you and I have had conversations about your dad making sure you had like legit Nike gear and not the ones, what was it, from Mervin's back in the day?
Yeah.
Where we knew there was a difference between the Nike Mervin from Mervin's and there was a Nike from the Nike store.
Is it really a difference?
Yeah,
bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's two veins of like Nike. There's like the cheap brand of Nike, and then there's like, all right, so I'm a nerd out football status here. So when you hit the football field as a football player, if you showed up in Land Sharks, your parents went to Kohl's to go get you your cleats.
No way.
You showed up in Vapors,
or Big Five.
Yeah, or Big Five. But if you showed up in Vapors, your parents went online and ordered you from the Nike store.
Oh,
but see, this goes back to what you were talking about.
Yeah,
this is how the stupid mentality kind of gets.
It does.
Look, and nowadays it's even worse. Like I feel it was funny because the LA Times just did a whole. They did a whole report on Generation Alpha, the kids of the millennials, and how they're screwed even worse than anybody else. And a lot of it has to do because of the freaking mindset they're putting into these kids. They're little kids right now. These are kids that were born from 2010 to now, but we're screwing them up so much because of the crap they're really being exposed to right now. Think about what social influencing and social media has done to these kids, to the parents that are now putting the same mindset into their kids. Yeah. Like, dude, how many kids all of a sudden do you see? I don't know if you pay this attention now as a father of you or kids, but like
as a new dad, he's freaking out.
Yeah, I am. Internally, like I'm just thinking about everything. I'm like, yep.
Dude, but
it was speaking to me.
I see this stuff like even at the Little League where I'm a part of, where parents have their kids, they're playing t-ball and they're rocking like the Trout cleats. They're rocking.
I thought you were going to say the Trump cleats.
No, my mistake. Come on. Hey, but we're trying to make America great again.
Yeah. Don't kill Raul, please.
Just bring interest rates down. That's all I want.
There we go. But look, like it's T-ball, and I get it. We take pride in our kids, but it's like, why is a 4-year-old got to rock $70 cleats, $100 glove, and a $200 baseball bat? But it's the things we expose our kids to. So our kids grow up to these mindsets. Dude, I've seen kids like wearing onesies from Gucci.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's like, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I learned the hard way, too. Like, I was a moron when my kid was first born. I had Jordans lined up for him before he was even born. And he wore once, if that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that could have gone to his college fund.
Yeah.
But how many of our people are talking about starting up college funds for our new kids?
Yeah.
Instead, we're like, hey, let's go get them all the Jordans
Right.
that they're going to wear once.
Bro, no joke. And this is why, like, I'm grateful for you, dude, because you've been in my life now, since I was like 12. And
It's been a while, bro.
Yeah, and I'm 32 now. And like the beautiful thing is that, so for the guys that don't know, Raul, I call him my cousin, but he's married to my cousin, so cousin through marriage.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's what I'm saying. He's been in my life since I've been about 12. But Raul is essentially a great role model for me because he understands
about that one, bro. Be careful about the words you say.
He's great to bounce ideas off of and learn from.
Soundboarding is always good.
Yeah.
And that's why, look, some of the stuff you say.
Yeah.
You know, even we'll get into this a little bit later, but you talk about your podcast and sometimes how we don't, especially the male Latino community, we don't bounce shit off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't talk about finances.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about sentiments. Yes, I said sentiments, guys.
Yeah.
We don't talk about feelings.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I got into golf and why it became such a big part was like hanging out with my boy Hex, Golfero OG,
Yeah.
and having our therapy sessions on the golf course.
Yeah.
So those type of things we try to like sweep under the freaking rug or under the table. Especially in our culture, it's like, suck it up, dude. Just fucking do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Ponte las pilas.
Yeah.
That's
Ponte
what
las
I
pilas,
mean.
dude.
Ponte las pilas. You're not.
That's my monk.
Yeah, you're not
Síguele,
depressed.
güey.
Ponte las pilas.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so true. Yeah, and then that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I love having him as a sounding board because he's kind of the middle for me. Where like he's like, okay, like I still know that old schoolness, but then also at the same time, you know, he's gone to college, he's successful in business, stuff like that. So I see him and he'll tell me things like, bro, like, yeah, like I'm seeing this down the line and like this ain't gonna work and stuff like that. So like I learn a lot from him, and I think that's what's important for the people listening to this podcast and or watching the videos, whatever. It's like we do have to break that mold and like start asking questions.
Yeah.
Which once again, man, that's why I'm grateful that you're here because, you know, people need to understand that there are guys or people like themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you actually know where I'm coming from because, you know, you could go to Joe Schmo CPA and he's like, oh yeah, like have you opened up your savings account or where's all this information?
Why can't you just put $1,000 a month down on your 401k?
Yeah.
You know, why can't you just do X? But,
Yeah, do all the things that you were taught to do as a kid.
yeah, just go buy real estate, you know?
Yeah, right?
Ahorita.
Yeah, sure. Let me go put
talking about interest rates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, let me go put $100K down for the down payment.
Yeah.
But so kind of where I'm going with that is let's talk a little bit more about your business. So you have G&G CPAs. What is it exactly that you do for the people? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is the focus of that business and why did you start it?
Yeah, so G&G CPA stands for Garcia and Garcia. Not that many people know that that's what it is, but it's all about marketing, right? If you put Garcia and Garcia out there, the white folk might not want to come to your CPA. It might not be as sophisticated, right? So G&G CPAs, right? A little bit more palatable, I guess, you know, to those high income earners. But yeah, so as a CPA firm, really our number one goal is to help small businesses save in taxes, give them the tools so that they understand their business financially. Because, you know, you can go ahead and create a product and a service, but if you don't understand what it's costing you to do that, you're going to fail. And it's all about cash flow. Cash flow is king, right? Are you netting enough to sustain your own business without financial intervention, meaning, you know, a loan or other investors or whatever it may be? And then lastly, making sure you're pricing your product appropriately. Again, it goes back to understanding your financials. What is it costing you, right? Because you might say, hey, you know, your towel might cost, you know, let's say $40 or so. But are you factoring in your time? And, you know, the time that it takes to be in inventory and how fast are you flipping that inventory? Because then you've really spent, let's say, $1,000, let's say, right? $1,000 is just sitting in a box. And how long is that taking to you really turn into, you know, cash and a profit? Would you be better off just putting it into a, you know, high yield savings account and paying that 8%? Would that probably be better in a month than you know, your inventory just sitting there? So, there's a lot of scenarios, a lot of things, but that's really the goal. And, you know, we're 100% virtual, which we leverage technology. And that we have found that that's helped us, you know, reach a larger audience. And really the people and the population that we're aiming for are, millennials, people like us, people under the age of 50, who understand technology, who are okay with submitting their documents through a portal, which is encrypted, because you don't want to send any of that via email, right? If your tax person is telling you, hey, send me an email with your social security, you should be like, no.
See, now you're talking my geekness because I'm all cybersecurity and all that stuff.
So you want to make sure that, that you leverage technology, that you're efficient. Same thing for us, right? How are we able to provide a better service instantly? Well, we have cell phones, we have Google, we have a portal. You can communicate through many other forms versus just in person, right? So that's our goal, helping small businesses all over the U.S.
So, talking about the virtual aspect, obviously you have that is a great component to have, but do you get to meet your clients face to face, kind of like that first time at all, or how's that initial interaction?
The initial interaction will normally be someone scheduling a call online. So we'll do a 15-minute free consultation either through the phone or through Google Meets. Right. Okay. So that's really how I meet them, unless there's something major where they need me to come into the office, and we'll do that. Or if they're within the area, we'll go ahead and meet at a coffee shop or whatever it is. But really, it's 100% virtual for the most part. And that allows us to also filter out the kind of clients that we don't want to, deal with. I honestly don't want to, as bad as it sounds, I don't want to deal with the guy who comes with his shoebox and 1,000 receipts. That's not my type of client.
Yeah.
So there's apps where you can, now you can take pictures of your receipts. You can upload them. You can do your QuickBooks online through that. So again, leveraging technology and to your point, working smarter, not harder.
Well, and that's a crazy thing. Like, even I'm surprised because we've gotten to meet other businesses on this little venture of ours, but even folks that are our age, they still don't buy into, like, I don't know why meter nada en la computadora.
Oh yeah,
it's like, dude, like, bro, we're in a modern age. Either adapt or die type of thing, dude. It's like you're going away the dinosaurs.
AI is gonna kill a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Well, look, embrace it. That's my biggest thing. Yeah. It's like you can either be afraid of it or understand it and embrace it. Yeah. What can it do for me? How can it make my life easier? Mm-hmm. These are the type of things that and again, I go back to sometimes in our culture, we jump in it way too late where we could be doing something with it to benefit us.
Yeah.
That's the big.
And maybe there's a business opportunity right there.
Look, like, honestly, like, what's the number now? I think it's like 2054 or something like that. The so-called brown population becomes a majority in the country.
Yeah.
Bro, I think that's already happening in Texas. They just announced that the majority now is...
Fuck Texas.
Yeah, fuck Texas.
Yeah. No, we love our Texas fans, but...
It's always the California-Texas rivalry.
Yeah, Whataburger or In-N-Out.
No, come on, bro.
Yeah, man, see, so fuck Texas. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, we just did a pod with Save Par, and that came up, and...
he brought out Culver, which we tried, because my kid, we were out in the middle of nowhere in Omaha, Nebraska, and look, it was all right. I didn't say it was. Right, I was gonna say it was bad, but I would take that over Whataburger.
Yeah, if you had never lived in California, that was probably like the best burger you've ever had in Nebraska.
It was all right, but look, everybody hyped up Whataburger. I was out there for a business trip. I'm like, all right, I got out of the airport. I was like, let me go try this thing. I was like, all right, I can add avocado to it. That's a nice touch. And I got the burger. I was like, yo, what the hell is the difference between this and Jumbo Jack from Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
I look, send the hate mail to me, but I didn't really see the hype.
I think at best it reminds me of Five Guys. At best,
I would probably give Five Guys.
I'm saying at best.
I think I would give Five. I'm not a big fan of Five Guys because, like, look, if I'm gonna spend that much coin, I'd rather go to like freaking a brewery that has good beer and a good burger.
Yeah,
but Five Guys was like, damn. I didn't drop 25 on a combo.
You know what's the funniest argument I've heard between Whataburger fans against In-N-Out? They go, oh, you guys have to order your burger with all these like off-menu specialty fixes to make it taste good. And I'm like, no, those are just side options. The main burger itself is great, but don't come at me with that when I go see your menu and it's like 100 different burgers running across the screen. I was like, what's the difference? You just have it on a screen now.
Look, This was an argument of one of my guys that used to be a sales rep for one of the companies I used to work for, and he was out in Texas. He's like, well, at least we have jalapenos. I'm like, you know what? That's probably the only thing you have above In-N-Out. You can have jalapenos to it. That's really about it.
Or whatever they are.
But yeah, that's a horse of a different color. But yeah, I'm California through and through.
Oh yeah,
that's not a question.
Yeah, the big CA. I love it. No, this is a lot of great information, Cesar, and I'm really happy that you're on here. And I would really encourage anyone that's listening, tuning in, please go follow G&G CPAs. Ask questions. They're on Instagram. What's your website? Everything's virtual, so I'm assuming the website.
The GG CPAs, because we couldn't have GG CPA. Somebody already has that. So we had to add the GG CPAs.
Yeah.
So, .com. Yeah.
Yeah, so go check them out. Definitely start asking questions, and I think that's kind of like the big thing for our culture too. Is ask more questions. Don't be afraid to like go out there and say like, "Hey, man, what am I doing wrong?" Because
don't be afraid of being vulnerable, man. That's always the number one thing.
So, Cesar, I have a question for you. You brought that up that you help a lot of small businesses, but look, let's be honest. Some of our culture has gotten the education, and they're getting good gigs. Some of them are in sales. I've seen a lot of successful salespeople, and they're making nice chunk of change every year. Do you guys help those high potential income earners? I mean, what's the demographic? Are you guys strictly to small businesses? Are you guys looking for more clientele in that high earning bracket?
Yeah, so there's really, I try not to promote really the industries that we work with, but really it's truckers. Mm-hmm. It's real estate.
That's a massive one, especially in the Latino community as well.
Yeah, truckers, real estate, and then entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that could fall into entrepreneurs, right? But mostly services versus products. We can do products here and there, but I try not to get too involved with cost accounting and everything else. That's a whole beast of its own.
Yeah.
But to your point, the high income earners, yes, we do, and then we realize that, and the reason why we have those three industries is because they all kind of work together.
Yeah, no doubt.
High income earners. You want to invest in real estate. You want to get invested into short-term rentals because you buy a property, you put it into a short-term rental, an Airbnb. So as long as on average you're renting it out for 7 days or less on average, right? Then it would be considered an offset against your W-2 income, right? And so when you think about, let's say, $500,000 home.
Yeah.
Well, here in California, 80% of that would go to the land and 20% of that would go to the building. Mm-hmm. The land, the land, you cannot depreciate. Mm-hmm. So that $400,000 is off the books. Those $400,000 are just, you cannot use against your income. The $100,000 you can, but a building is depreciated over 29 and a half years. So you take $100,000 divided by 29. What is that math? I mean, again, it's all...
You're the math guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's all plus and minuses, right? You won't see a lot of a benefit, right?
Right.
You're taking, what is that, $3K maybe a year?
Yeah, about $3K, yeah.
So you're not seeing much of that benefit. $3K a year in tax savings for a $500,000 home, that doesn't make sense. But if you go do this strategy in like Arizona or Texas or somewhere in the Midwest where... maybe it's 60% or maybe it's 80% on the building, 400,000, and 100,000 on the land. So that $400,000, instead of taking that over 30 years, what you can do is you can do a cost segregation study. And so now you're parsing out everything that's in the building. So instead of taking the whole unit and dividing that, whatever is allocated to that, the 400,000 divided by 30 years, let's say, you can say, well, $100,000 of this is really all the floor. Well, you can accelerate that depreciation over 5 years. Oh, well, the restroom or the roof is over 15 years. You have, washer, dryer, and everything else. You assign a dollar value to these, and you can take them, over 5 years or less versus 30 years. And so a lot of these folks are now taking, let's say, 50% of that 400,000 in year one. Right. So now if you owed $50K in taxes and you get a tax benefit of $200,000, right, to offset that, now you're still showing $150K in losses.
Yeah.
And you can roll those over year, right? So Sorry, I got a little cold going on. So yeah, that's the strategy for these folks, right? And that's where you see a lot of investment in Airbnb. So real estate is really the way for these high income earners to, accelerate tax savings and to also just continue to create passive income.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's some really good insight into that.
And that's how everyone, you had any self-made millionaire?
Yeah.
Real estate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just Jerry Buss.
Jerry Buss. Yes.
There's no surprise why all these private bankers are investing in residential homes now too.
Yeah.
Like that's scary, dude.
Yeah,
that
dude. They're buying up so much property. It's
so much
insane.
Yeah.
Dude, they're literally buying like parcels of land to create their own community. Look at what's going up in Northern California, where they're trying to build the real world, authentic, modern living.
Really?
Yeah, they just ended up, and it's a lot of the sea levels from these tech companies who just bought a little bit north of San Francisco. So it's maybe like an hour drive. They just
like Eureka and all that up there?
Even before that.
They just
bought up all this land like up in northern Marin County, which was farmland. They're buying it all up, and they're trying to create this modern society out there.
Yeah.
Interesting thing on how they're doing that, and they're doing it all through shell corporations, so they don't know who exactly is.
Who owns this what?
Yeah, but Meta's involved with that. Google's involved with that.
Of course.
A bunch of their C-levels are involved with that stuff. It was an interesting read. I think I read that in Wired.
Okay.
And now they're like, well, pump the brakes. They're trying to start throwing society out there.
Is that like the smart city that they were talking about?
Essentially,
or something like that?
But they want to go back to old school mentality as far as family values with modern
living. Yeah.
So it's an interesting take, and they wanted to be closer to where they do need to drive into the city or something like that. They're able to do so. But it's an interesting take, a little bit north of San Francisco. I think it was Wired where I read that article from. Some interesting stuff there.
That's interesting. Have you heard? I mean, you probably heard of it. You dive into all the weeds of that stuff. But
freaking geek like that, bro.
Yeah, he is, dude. He's my researcher. I ask him about everything. But have you seen something along the same vein in Dubai? They're trying to make that city that's just a straight line.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That thing's insane.
That's insanity right there.
No, I have not.
So basically what they're doing is how a lot of cities are built is the hub, right? So your town hall or whatever, the center of your city is the center, and then they expand outward, right? And in like a circular fashion. What they're doing out in Dubai is they're flipping the model, and instead they're making a city that's a straight line.
Think of the Great Wall of China.
The Great Wall of China, exactly.
But it turned into a city.
Yeah.
The concept architecture for that is insanity, man.
Wow. Dude, no, I haven't seen it. I have to look into that.
So the thought process behind that is supposed to be more efficient as far as commuting, living space, because they're going accessibility. They're going out and up. And so how all of the commuting will be handled is a light rail that'll run up and down. There'll be no need for cars.
Yeah, essentially it just makes a U-turn, if you will. So it goes up and then it goes back down.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. But yeah, and there's a lot of interesting projects going out in the Middle East right now. But I mean, Dubai, come on, it's a man-made city. So there's a lot of crazy things going on over there.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of interesting facts and information out there. And guys, I'm sorry if we kind of digressed a little bit, but if you're hearing a lot of this and it sounds pretty foreign, that should be a flag for you to be like, I need to start asking more questions and start reading.
Red flag. We got to get out of our comfort zones. We got to think a little bit more strategic.
And here's the thing, you're never going to know everything about anything, right? Like I'm not going to be... It's not for me to go and, be an expert in cybersecurity. Like, no, what I want to do is I want to have people in my circle who know cybersecurity.
You nailed it.
Right? I'm not, I'm going to focus on what I do best. Right? And for me, it's tax law, and optimization of businesses and product pricing. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go ahead and, you got to have people in your circle and same thing. Right? And the biggest misconception is like, why would I pay you $400 to do my tax return when I can go down the street and pay someone $150? Mm-hmm. Fair, 1,000% fair.
Yeah, TurboTax for free.
No, but it's the thing. The thing about it is that you're not doing your taxes. You're not tax planning by April 15th. All you're doing is filing what's already known. The IRS already knows how much you made and what you paid in taxes, and if you owe or you don't.
Yeah.
The real strategy is the year in which we are now. So right now, I'm already planning for 2025. How is my 2025 going to look like? You need to start now. And in those $400, you might have a session with us, 30-minute session. I'll look at your information. I'll give you some pointers, right? Obviously, there's more than $400 worth, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, I charge you $400. Well, guess what? I saved you, let's say, $2,000.
Yeah.
Right? Versus you
Plus
paid $150 and you lost.
Gains,
so
bro. The
it's
net
understanding that. And
Yeah.
that's a different mindset.
Yeah, that's so funny right now that you were saying that about how the IRS knows what you made. I just saw this meme the other day. It's like the IRS already knows what you made and what you owe. On the flip side, you're playing the game of trying to figure out what you owe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's reality.
Yeah, dude. So that stuff's insane. But no, this has been a lot of good stuff, Cesar. So I really appreciate you being on here with us. We're going to start winding down, guys, because we have a tea time that's coming up here in just a few minutes.
And Cesar has not played golf in a while, bro.
I have not. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
We'll get some good footage and we'll have to post it.
Oh, we're definitely going to be posting it. Yeah.
Not the first drive, though.
Dude, it's not breakfast ball time, but we'll definitely give you the breakfast ball. It's a brunch bar or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that flag out there is blowing pretty hard. So there's going to be some wind to deal with. But yeah, just a couple quick wrap-up questions for you, bro. And we're going to get Cesar back on the pod, guys, because we didn't even get to dive into how we all met and our golf experiences. There's a lot more behind that.
Good
a lot
times,
of fun.
good times.
Good times.
Temecula Creek, right?
Temecula
baby.
Creek, bro. We'll get you back on so we can talk about that. Yeah, el pajarito, Cesar el pájaro. Shh, shh, shh. As you can tell, it's a fun story for us to relive.
For those that follow the reels that Ralph puts together, we were recently at Temecula. When was it?
Temecula
2 months
Creek.
ago?
Yeah, we were out there 2 months ago with the homie Al and Happy Hour and all them. Yeah.
So yeah, if for those that follow the reels religiously, you guys know what we're talking about. For those of you who don't, you will find out when Cesar and Cesar comes back online.
Yeah.
Allegedly. No, allegedly. It's all allegedly.
Allegedly. But yeah, we're talking about the twins. Once again, congratulations. They just celebrated their first birthday not too long ago, right?
Yeah, last month.
Last month. Yeah.
So,
It's 1 year already, bro.
yeah.
I know, that's wild, bro. So with the twins, obviously that's not just one kid, 2 kids. I mean, it takes up a lot of time, a lot of like amazing time because you get to spend with your kids. But how much time has been left for golf?
No time. If I get to play golf, it's really I'm playing the back nine at a local course. You know, Chester, Washington is the nearest one, and then there's Alondra, and then Westchester. So I have to wake up at 5:30, 5 a.m. and go play 9 and come back and be a dad. But that's all I really have time for now. Not 9 holes.
Yeah. Hey, no one could be mad at 9
but
holes,
it's
right?
still much more than probably other people get to play. So you still got to be grateful for that.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. How bad has the golf game been affected since you can only play 9 holes here and there?
I'll tell you what, my stamina once I get past like 12 holes, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like I just don't have that. I think, and here it is. I think 12 holes is a perfect amount of holes.
Okay.
12.
12.
Right, that's an interesting.
That's
12.
a number.
Because you do,
That's a number.
you do 9, and then you're like, oh yeah, let me go play a couple more holes. But then by like 14, you're like, fuck this. Like, yeah, why did I keep on playing?
It's kind of
like
interesting.
you hit 12.
That's really interesting, man, because I feel like by 16, the last 2 are the ones like, all right, let's muscle through this.
Yeah.
And then the
You got
18th is the one
stamina.
that brings you back.
That's so true.
So which hole brings you back if you're only thinking 12? Is it the 12th hole that
The
brings you
12th
back?
hole, you hit that shot?
No, I think it's like hole 8, 9 where I feel really good, and I'm like, all right, it's over, but I still want to keep on going. But I know that I'm not gonna have 9 good shots or 9 times 4, whatever that is, 36, 36 better shots for the next 9 holes. I know I'm only gonna have a few more.
I like the
that are that good.
mathematician coming at him right there.
yeah.
The CPA.
I'm only gonna have a few more, good holes. So
Yeah.
and that was not 34. That was 56. Was it 9 times 4? What is that?
Yeah, 36.
Oh,
yeah,
that's 36.
yeah,
All right, I'm thinking
yeah.
thinking a whole different
He's
number.
drinking, guys.
Yeah,
This
he's
is not what
drinking,
the way he
yeah.
does his
I
taxes
know.
or any of that
He's
stuff.
drinking.
Please, that's not a
I
good
don't know why
sign.
54 came to mind. But
Yeah, you're thinking of Liv. No, I was kidding.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, 54. But yeah, I think 12 is a good number of holes. So you partition it into 3, right?
Yeah.
The 18 into 3.
I've seen out there that people are petitioning for golf courses to move to a 6-6-6 format. So you could play
There
6
it is.
holes. You could play 12.
Let's not scare people.
I
dude,
know.
'cause
No, I'm not thinking that. There's somebody out there. But no, that's so funny. But Raul, you have anything left for Cesar before we wind down here?
Well, dude, there was so much more to talk about, but I really freaking enjoyed the conversation you had. But you know, I'll ask you this one because this is one of the reasons why golf became such a bigger part of my life. And it was one of those things that a lot of time, again, for some of us that started playing golf in our culture, might have been one of the reasons they got into business and golf.
Yep.
What's your take on that? How did it impact you, if at all?
Yeah, I didn't know that about golf. Well, I just thought it was a boring sport when you see it on TV. But then that's really what we all probably thought. And then started working for a company, and it was very involved with cities and, you know, public relations and everything else. And I'm like, man, I want to go to those events. Like, I want to go meet people, network, and interact. And well, the only reason you can do that is if you're decent at golf, you know. So
Yeah.
started getting into golf because of that. And then, yeah, to your point, that's when I realized, oh shit, like, this is where the business is happening. This is where the deals are being closed.
No
Not
doubt.
like,
Yep.
you know, in an office or in a meeting one-on-one. It's here, right? And everyone's going to judge you by your golf game and say, hey, what kind of person are you? Because of the frustrations and the things that golf teaches you, right? It teaches you a lot about yourself, right? It's you against the course, really.
Yep.
So how do you deal with, you know, frustrations? How do you deal with a bad shot or a good shot? You know, and people learn a lot about, I feel like I learn a lot about people through their golf game. You know, who
100%,
easily gets intimidated if you get people into people's heads, if you don't. You know, if you're betting on something and this is the one shot, like, can you
Gambler over here.
Degenerate
gambler.
Nah, I never mean. Never mean.
yeah, Otani.
Take it easy.
No, Otani. It's Ippy. It's
I was
Ippy.
his interpreter.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a
it's
couple-
interpreted. Yeah.
But I'm applying for that job, by the way.
Yeah, dude.
They
I'm
already
gonna learn
hired someone.
Japanese real quick.
they already hired the who was it?
Oh, the previous one from
Yeah, I forget what that picture was. named.
Hideki's there?
Oh,
No.
Hideki.
No, wait, sorry.
No, you're not-
I'm
you're-
sorry. I'm thinking golf. See, I already got golf on the brain.
I was like, bro.
But yeah, it was an old interpreter for one of the other pictures.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Pretty
Yeah.
good. What his name was.
Maeda.
Maeda.
There we go. There we
How are
go.
we gonna forget Maeda already?
I know,
Yeah,
you do so
yeah.
for
What
us.
the
You
hell?
so
Yeah,
for us.
that's how spoiled we are with the Dodgers.
I know,
dude.
right?
And look, honestly, the Dodgers. I'm not gonna get into the Dodgers. We're not gonna talk too much baseball, but the Dodgers have always had a good Japanese culture
Relation,
built into it,
yes.
starting with
Yeah.
Hideo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And back to Nomo, baby. So
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be filled pretty fast, but we could always wish, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I love the fact that people are getting into it, and so let's just continue to grow it, man, and let's not be the gatekeepers. Let's, you know, bring people along who probably don't have nice clubs and have never golfed before. Let's go ahead and build each other up, and that's the way to do it, because we got to grow the sport. And
Heck yeah,
one
bro.
thing I always say, man, and I think you brought it up, right? 2054, we're going to be the brown folks are going to be the majority, of
majority,
the population, right? And I always say, man, and people probably think I'm kidding half the time because maybe I say it when it's not the right time, but I always say, nomás no dominamos el mundo porque no queremos.
Ooh.
But if you think about it, dude,
That's deep, bro.
we are always getting marketed to, dude. Fucking sports,
Yes.
fucking anything
Politics.
on TV. Who's buying all this shit? Latinos, unfortunately, and it goes back to money. But if we were to do that, apply that same shit amongst us, dude, and not buy from like the big corporations, toda esa madre,
Yeah.
imagine where the fuck would we be? And I feel like golf embraces that, because
They're
now these
starting
connections
to.
that we're making and
They're starting
everything
to.
was full circle, dude. But yeah, nomás no-
I mean, you're without a doubt 100% correct. And look, I know this is going to be kind of interesting, but for anybody that follows football, not football, but football or soccer,
Yeah.
if you actually see a game, even in Mexico, all the brands that are marketing are Home Depot, AutoZone, Budweiser. It's like, where are all the Mexican brands that should be advertising here? It's not
Yeah.
Mexican brands advertising to Mexicans.
No.
It's a bunch of American brands advertising to everybody.
Yep.
And that's the thing, because kind of back to what I mentioned before, the mentality of like, ya llegó el cheque, a gastarlo.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
De
out.
volada, let's
It's out
go.
the door.
Let's go
Yeah.
shopping. That's
Dude.
the thing. We're not the saving type of folk. Let's go splurge a little bit.
And we got to change that mentality. So no, yeah, Cesar, once again, I've thanked you so much already on this podcast for being on, but it's honestly like just right there, you just sparked a whole nother episode, because that's so true, bro.
It is.
That mentality is so true. But yeah, guys, we're gonna wind it down now. We're gonna head out, get ready to hit the golf course. So please follow G&G CPAs, ask the questions, go out there and do something different, whether it's golf, on any other sport, whatever it is. Just start broadening your horizons, because yeah, man, we don't dominate the world because we don't get on it. We should. So as always, salud, golferos.
Salud, golferos.
Appreciate you guys having me on.